Why is the dream match between Goldberg and Gunther a ticking time bomb that is set to backfire on WWE? The match is set as Goldberg gets his retirement match in his hometown of Atlanta against the undefeated World Heavyweight Champion Gunther, at least in this title reign. It's a Legend's final stand against the future of the business. But this isn't a dream match, it's a trap. Everyone is focused on who should win. But what if there's no right answer? What if the outcome, a Goldberg win, a Gunther win, a 5-star classic, a 2-minute squash, leads to a disastrous backfire that damages the championship, the legend, and the title itself? Well, in today's video, we're going to be looking and breaking down what WWE could or could not do with Gunther versus Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. This is going to be a very interesting match because Goldberg is slated to retire after this match, and he's even gone on record when doing that weird sit-down interview with Michael Cole that, well, if I win the championship, I don't know what's next. I didn't really think of that, which is always a great freaking answer. So, former WWE employee Jonathan Coachman, he raised a valid question on the Behind the Turnbuckle Studios podcast when talking about this upcoming match, and I think it broaches a much bigger discussion, right? So this is what he had to say. Why would you make it for the World Heavyweight Championship? You know, if Goldberg beats him, the fans are going to crap all over it. And you're almost 60 years old. You're going to beat a guy in his prime. It's not believable. It's not. Now, there is something that fans are not looking at, and I think that you need to. We know that the chances of Goldberg beating Gunther, maybe under Vince McMahon's era, could have realistically happened, right? He loved his old guys. Under Triple H, not so much, right? He usually pushes the younger talent. So the idea that Goldberg would beat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship in his retirement match, I think most of us would agree that's not likely, right? Most of us would expect, oh, they're giving Goldberg a final retirement match. WWE, specifically Triple H, felt like this had to be for the world title because Goldberg's going out. You give him one last title run, last title shot. Let's not do title run. And, you know, Gunther's not going to lose it. He just beat Jey Uso, so we move on with our lives. And Gunther just goes over Goldberg, and it's no big deal, right? But then I was thinking, and I go, it seems a little too predictable. Now, I understand that a lot of people have criticized Triple H for heavily focusing on just straightforward booking. There's not a lot of twists, there's not a lot of turns in regards to his booking. Now, if you throw in, The Rock or the Bloodline or whoever, yes, there can be outside forces that causes his booking to make a twist or a turn, right? But I would throw out this narrative. There is an outside force that I don't think people are looking at, that are not giving enough credit for. And that's Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins holds the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, he is currently feuding with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Now, we have seen Seth Rollins versus CM Punk before in a singles match, Monday Night Raw on Netflix premiere in January, right? It was Punk that went over Seth, and those two have feuded and feuded and feuded. But what if I said that Seth Rollins is about to cash in Money in the Bank? What if I said that Goldberg loses, Gunther retains, but Gunther doesn't walk out as world champion? What if I told you Seth Rollins is going to cash in Money in the Bank? Now, there's also something else that could happen. And I don't think this will happen, but it's definitely worth a discussion. It's worth throwing on the table. It's worth stating, what if Uncle Bill won the World Heavyweight Championship in his retirement match? And what if it was Seth Rollins who cashed in Money in the Bank right after and screwed Goldberg? You could do it. It is definitely a fourth option. I don't think fans should go into Gunther versus Goldberg in a one-sided affair. I don't think it should be, well, Gunther's going over, he has to go over, or, well, it's Bill's final match, he has to win the world title, right? I think if you asked most fans, okay, what do you see happening here? How do you see this laying out? Well, I think most people would say, oh, well, Gunther's going over, he's going to retain the world title, there's no way they're going to put the belt on Goldberg. Then you could have some population of the fan base go, well, Goldberg's going to go over. he's going to win the world title and he's going to go out on his terms, right? And then there will be a portion of the crowd go, well, Gunther will retain, but he won't walk out and Seth will cash in Money in the Bank. I think there's definitely a realistic possibility that you at least have to consider. I'm not saying that they will. I'm not saying that they should. I'm actually against the idea that Seth Rollins cashes in Money in the Bank and he walks out of Atlanta with the World Heavyweight Championship, because ever since Seth has won this briefcase, he doesn't seem like a real threat, right? And he's almost been kind of like lurking in the shadows. Now, he got involved in the John Cena match with CM Punk at Night of Champions, right? Seth got involved. He screwed over Punk. He hit the stomp, right? He hit him with the briefcase, then he hit him with a stomp. It furthers that feud. And obviously, that's a larger discussion of why did Punk not get involved in Money in the Bank and cost Seth the briefcase, but I digress. You look at this situation, and there's 4 possible outcomes. I think the right call here is you have Gunther versus Goldberg main event. You have Gunther beat Goldberg. You have Gunther be endorsed by the WWE Hall of Famer at the end of the match, and you go off the air. It was Goldberg's last run. It was a passing of the torch between these 2 dominant figures, these 2 dominant stars, and you move on with your life. That is the direction in which I think WWE should go. That is the direction in which I think WWE should seriously say, okay, that's what we're doing here. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out what WWE thinks is best for Gunther. We're going to find out what WWE thinks is best for Goldberg's legacy. We're going to find out what they think is the best for the future of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther being champion is not a bad thing. He looks the part. He acts the part. He wrestles a main event style. He's a very believable guy. He is getting better with his promos, but I don't see him necessarily being a drawing card. And I don't know what he's missing. I think if you would add, like, I understand why they did Paul Heyman aligning himself with Seth Rollins. I think he would have been better with Gunther. Now, I understand there would have been a lot of people being like, oh, well, that's just a ripoff of Brock Lesnar. But I think he could have utilized him, right? I think Paul would have enhanced Gunther. I think he would have made him a bigger attraction, because that's just what Paul Heyman does. Missed opportunity. Maybe.